And you're right on time for Let's Talk Love Kenya, where I sit with the University of Nairobi's Professor Herman Manyora to talk about issues of love and family. My name is Kimathi. Thank you for joining us. Prof, how are you doing?
Good.
You're great?
Great.
I'm also doing good.
Wonderful.
And I have a message.
Yes.
This person says, I married a career woman hoping to make a good housewife out of her.
Yes.
Before we got married, she would tell me that she does not see herself as a mother. But I ignored those red flags with hopes that she would change as we progressed into the union. But I recently learned that she has been frustrating our hopes to get a child by secretly using contraceptive implants. I learned this from her sister and confronted her last weekend, but now she's threatening to leave me. She also made it clear that having children at this point will curtail her career. What do I do? Because I want to have children and I don't want to lose the woman.
Because he wants to have children, but he doesn't want to lose it.
Yes, the woman. But the woman says she can't have kids right now.
But that woman is doing exactly what we said. We've said it many times here on this show. That is important for people to discuss. The world is changing. And bad as it may be to some of us who are old school, traditional people, you can call us backwards. We believe children are a blessing. That there's no way a person can stop children from coming. But the truth, however, is that there's an increasing number of people who, by choice, don't want to have children. So I've argued here and said many times that it's important to discuss things before marriage. So this guy was told that career woman doesn't want children.
He ignored those signs. He was hoping to change her.
He has to blame himself.
But many people get into the relationship hoping to change the partner.
Convincing, it is possible to convince somebody. Why don't you convince them before the marriage? It is possible. You can convince people. But before the marriage. Ideally, should be before the marriage. Because if they have told you, I don't want children, and you go ahead to marry them, it means you agree with them. You think it's fine, and you can live with it. So why do you want to change things midstream? And it's not just about children, it's about many things. A woman tells you, look here, you are marrying me now, I'm just a university student, but be assured after this degree which I'm getting next year, I need 3 more.
But you ignore that. Most men ignore that.
Some of those degrees I will do them in Australia. I mean, you have to look at it. Convince her that it's not right.
So this issue of men thinking that even if the woman has made a position very clear before, men always hope that the woman will change her mind, that you will overwhelm her with her influence once you get into the marriage. It seems to be common.
You have said a very good thing. Men.
It's usually men that change.
You know, men assume they have control over women in ways that are no longer possible.
Not today.
You know, if it was the other way around, if the woman didn't like something about a man, either she would keep off, abandon the idea of marriage, or try to convince them. Because they know they stand no chance thereafter. But a man assumes, since I'm the man, that must stop. That must come to an end. Even those of us who still believe a family has a head, and that head is a man. We are traditional, yes. But even us who are traditional in thinking, in outlook, in orientation, we can still put across this simple fact that a woman is not somebody you are going to control the way you would control a 5-year-old kid. She's a mature person.
So men opt to marry. We had a discussion with Richard earlier about whether for a man, what is better if you marry a woman who is not educated, a woman who is not on the same mental acuity level, on the same mental level as you. They are controllable than the learned ones. That is the control narrative we must get away from.
It's not true. Don't marry people with the intention of controlling them. You'll be disappointed. I came in contact with that thinking and actual action many years ago. Many. I was not even 20. I think I was around 20 years.
How did they work out?
A guy was working in the Ministry of Education. They used to call them senior clerks. Those were very important people.
But they were still clerks?
And she helps a girl to get a secure job as a teacher.
In government?
Yeah, because clerks were very important those days in education. Kwa DO. The woman became problematic and blah, 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 blah. The marriage ended like that. And he said he was going to look for the most illiterate woman.
So that she follows his lead.
And he did exactly that. I don't know what happened after that. But recently, as recent as last week, as recent as yesterday, there's a case of a doctor who married somebody, not a doctor like him, but a professional. They have divorced. And the people around the doctor are advising this doctor, I was with him yesterday, advising him to marry a village woman, illiterate or at least a primary school teacher. That thinking is stupid, if I'm allowed to use that word.
Break it down for me.
Do not marry somebody you judge. Now, this one, because I'm more educated than them, I'll control them. Situations are never permanent. No situation is permanent. Today, you marry a woman because you are rich, she's poor. She can be so enterprising that with the little she gets from you or from other sources, she can surpass you. Or your empire can crumble down. So that you are no longer the rich man. Now you are no longer the rich man. And here is the woman you thought you will control because you are rich, she's not. You can marry a Form 4 girl. But at some point she can decide, well, look here, I want to pick up the pieces. She can hear stories from other people. I teach at the university. I have taught 50, 60-year-old women.
Who've come back to
school. I've taught 2 women who had to go back to Form 3. Yeah, one of them, let me not mention, but the husband was a senior person in the police. He got her in Form 2.
And these women are being pushed back to class
it can be the
to balance
of the
power dynamics?
No, the husband. These 2 cases, the husband. One was a professor, another was a senior pilot.
So they send their wives to
telling
school.
them, no, please, darling, you sacrifice so much for me. You sacrifice so much for me. Now that we have had a family, I want, please, is there anything I can do? You go back to school. The 2. One was a pilot, another one is a professor. Unfortunately, he died recently. So, the idea is, no situation is permanent. So, yes, today you are more educated than that girl, and you are marrying her so that you control her. But tomorrow she can become more educated than you. You are richer than her today. But tomorrow she could have more money. Things happen. Look, I had a friend of mine, an old man, he passed on some times back. He got money because thieves were being chased, robbers. And this is a really true story. Anybody who comes from where I come from will tell you this is a true story. Mzee ameshikwa na haja. Haja kubwa. He's gone to the bush in the manner of the arrow of God. Not the arrow of God by Chinua Achebe. People are going to the bush there. Where people go to the bush. So he's in the bush doing his thing. And the criminals, robbers, bank robbers are being chased. They had actually stolen money from a cooperative society when they are paying farmers. So they can see the police behind them. So they threw the money. And they stopped briefly and threw the money in some bush. So that if the police catch up with them, they will not find the money. So the money landed where this old man is.
He was doing his business.
He's a man, anybody who comes from where I come from. This is the man who used to give us loans, short loans when we are broke. Shylock, he was our Shylock. So, look here, no situation in the world is ever permanent. Who knew a boy like Obama would be president of the most powerful nation in the world? When he was carrying a bag of cabbage here in Nairobi. Lanky young boy. Who knew?
Things change.
No situation. So don't marry somebody so that you control them. The situation that obtain for you to control them may change, and you'll be disappointed. But you can also advise women. There is no truth in the thinking that you cannot be a career woman and a wife.
That's what this lady seems to think.
It's not true.
No?
Not true. There are many serious career women, more serious than this woman can ever be, who are wives and mothers.
But women say being a mother is...
in this part of the world,
yeah,
when feminism was trying to hit this continent, about 20 or so years ago, 30 years ago, if you went to a meeting of women and you are a woman and you said, I'm proud to be a wife, they will chase you out of that meeting. That has since changed. There is nothing compatible with it. That you cannot be a career woman and be a wife. I read a story, a moving story from a judge. Was it a Luch or Effie Award? One of those. She says her routine from the court, she goes home, maybe a few exercises, things she's doing in the house, supervise the cleaning of everything that has not been cleaned, supervise the cooking. She does the final cooking and serves the husband. A judge of the High Court.
But she must be very tired.
That is about 30 years ago. She serves the husband and the family. Now, when things are relaxed, she puts in 3 hours of writing a judgment. A judge of the High Court is not a small woman. It cannot get more career than that. She has children. She has a husband. She does the... Of course, you cannot be a wife to the extent of a village woman. Because then you are a judge, you must write a judgment. You must also read. But look here, you put in 3 hours, 2 hours, after everybody has eaten. Mzee labda anaona TV. Kama sio mtu wa mambo kama ya kusoma na nini. She is watching his TV. Enjoying some documentary. The wife is writing. Or maybe you can wake up at 3 and write your judgment for 2 hours. Or read something, case studies. But you are a judge, and you are a wife, and you are a mother. All these things work together. However, we must agree that there are certain people, because of certain orientation, they may not want children in the marriage. And you have to convince them. If you feel they can't, then you don't marry them, if you really want children. That's what you can advise people. It's not simple.
But as you've said always, if you want to go into it, be extra sure that she will do what you want.
And
be extra sure you have
sure you can only be, I want to assume you love each other. You're not just marriage is not a contract the way people think. A marriage is a covenant. A covenant is not a contract. It's much more powerful, much more enduring. And people who enter into a covenant must have a certain understanding based on love. So if there was love, what is the problem? If you love somebody and they say they want to be career, including going to Australia 5 years, you think you can't fit that into your relationship? It's possible. You can recalibrate your thinking or your career, tweak it a bit, and your path can meet. You get it? It may even mean you putting in another year or 2 of studies here, to rebrand your career, so that when she goes out to Australia for her dream career training, you too can find relevance in Australia, because you will have studied what kind of jobs you can do in Australia, what kind of studies you can do. If there is love, nothing is difficult. But people don't want to. People enter into relationships without love. You think she's beautiful, you want her because she's beautiful. You see the money, you think she has the money. She's educated, he's educated, he has the money, he has nice cars. That is the source of the problem. That in mtoto of fulani, you are not even marrying a man you love. You are marrying a name. That it comes from mtoto of mheshimiwa. That is why people land into problems. Marry people and marry them out of love. And the love will solve all the small issues and misunderstandings. So that if it is not possible, then you know that despite love, this marriage cannot take off. And you sadly allow it to go away. You don't marry somebody to begin a lifelong journey of trouble. Yeah.
All right, that's where we stop the discussion today. This is Let's Talk Love Kenya with Professor Herman Manyora. I'll see you next time. My name is Kimadi.